This is the sound of a University of Phoenix student earning a business degree. What you don't hear is the University of Phoenix student studying in between shifts, in his 2-bedroom apartment, while his children sleep. What you don't hear is this student defying the odds to succeed. Shouldn't that student be the candidate you take a longer look at? University of Phoenix. We rise. Learn more at phoenix.edu.
Blog Talk Radio.
Live from Fort Bragg's backyard, this is the show that put the 110 Nation on the map. There is only one nation, the 110 Nation, and you're listening to the 110 Nation Sports Show, covering each and every sport across the board. There is no sport too large or too little. It's time to talk the talk. Here we go. Here's the man, the founder, and your host, Mr. CJ Sports.
I want to welcome everybody to the 110 Nation Sports Show. I am your host, Mr. CJ Sports. You can follow me at CJ Sports1. You can follow the 110 Nation at 110 Nation. Also, check us out on Facebook, my personal fan page, Mr. CJ Sports, the 110 Nation fan page, 110 Nation Sports. Also, check out our blog site, www.the110nationsports.com, or check out our site, www.the110nation.com, for all the latest going on here at the 110 Nation. Glad to be back on the air. I know it's only been a few days, but just one hell of a weekend. All-Star weekend for the NBA. I tell you what, I told you all I was going to sit down and watch this. The first time that I have watched an All-Star game in 25 years. And I wanted to see the reaction from the other players, the respect that they paid Kobe Bryant. I care less about the game. The 196 to 179, whatever the score was, just 4 points short of 200-point ball game. And that tells you right there why I do not watch the All-Star game. There's the lack of any kind of effort makes me not want to watch it. But I wanted to watch I had the opportunity to watch the respect that is given to Kobe Bryant, and I that was all intention. And I did get to catch bits and pieces of it when it replayed, but of course, the one night, the one time in 25 years, I decided to sit down and watch this. Charter has complications with their cable, internet, and phone service in all of North Carolina and Virginia. And we were down and without. As a matter of fact, when I was on the air last night, not on the air, but I was running the studio for the Dirt Talk Hour last night, I actually had to do that all from the phone and not through Wi-Fi on the phone and use my data kind of opportunity. I had to call in so I could listen to it. I had to click over and use my phone to run the studio and everything else. It wasn't until like the last 15 minutes of the show that the internet started working, and then, of course, the cable came on as they were giving Westbrook, Russell Westbrook, the MVP trophy for the All-Star game, and that was kind of what I got to see at first. Now, we did have an opportunity as they replayed it right back on TNT. I did catch, I want to say up to halftime or close to halftime. Then I ended up falling asleep as we shifted to the bedroom and laid down. We was kind of aggravated because not only did that happen, then it was cold, but I didn't think that it was that cold. It only got down to the 20s. It wasn't like it was down to, single-digit numbers or in the negative, and the water had froze up on us. And so now because of the cable, we missed the first part, or missed the All-Star game, and I was trying to catch it the second time. Then we're both laying there kind of feeling icky because now we can't even shower or do nothing, and it was that was not how we wanted to spend Valentine's Day. We was both expecting a little bit of something to show our love to each other. It was just one thing on top of another. But what else can you complain about? What you know, with worse things going on, you know, I'm not going to complain because I did get to watch a little bit of that. I did get to watch the Lucas Oil 200 for the ARCA Series. I did get to watch the Sprint Unlimited. Yes, NASCAR season is back. Controversy already in the NASCAR season, and it just technically it has only gotten underway by qualifying, and technically we only have the first row set, and there's already controversy. As I talked about on Rubbing Is Racing right before this show, the 78 team's time was not allowed because of the roof, the right roof flap was not flush with the roof. It was not sitting right. And it gives you an aero advantage, and his time was not allowed. But guess who also had the roof flap not sitting flush and latched properly? And even on a home taken picture of a TV screen, you can see it plain as day. Guess who else? It had the same issue, but did not get caught. Did not get in trouble by NASCAR, which I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how you didn't see. You could spot that out on an all-black car. You could not you cannot notice that on a Napa blue car. Yes, Chase Elliott, the pole setter for the Daytona 500, gets away with what the same thing Mark Truex is going to be sent to the rear for the qualifying races on Thursday. I tell you what, controversy, conspiracy theory, rigged, and every other word has been used this last 24 hours after pictures and video footage has been revealed of what Truex got hit with, and what Chase Elliott, prodigy child of NASCAR, son of Bill Elliott, what he got away with. And I tell you what, not sitting over well with the 78 camp or those long-time NASCAR fans, with the constant conversation of inconsistency in NASCAR. We did get to see the debut of the new overtime line. Fans not happy with that. I'm fine with it. Anything to prevent what we saw at Talladega last year and the debacle and the controversy of what is an actual attempt, what is not an attempt. You want to talk about inconsistency? You had all that race and there was no wreck, and you couldn't even get a green flag to start to finish the race in 2 attempts, and both of them had a wreck about the same place, and one was not considered an attempt because it didn't initially go to Dale Jr. Then the second time it was considered an attempt, but they gave it to Joey Logano anyway, which rightfully so they should have. But people not happy with that. I like that. I would rather them give one good shot at it and know that, okay, if, they almost make it at least a lap, it was a shot, now it's over, versus them trying to do it 2 or 3 times. And, I guess to each is its own because of the action of a green-white checker. And I guess that part of it is going to be kind of depressing not to having in. But there's an infinite amount of tries to get it to happen, but there's only one shot once they pass the overtime line. So, very, very interesting. I know people were complaining about it yesterday, but and so I'm trying to get things locked up here. But people complaining, a race under caution, this, that, and the other. They just throw the flag right away. Let's go ahead and clear that up real quick. And then I got to talk about our guest that we're getting ready to have come on the show. And there you go. I sent a message to make sure. If we would have been under the old rules, then the only thing that would happen is it would have been another green-white checkered finish, and who knows. As a matter of fact, let me take it back. If it would have been under the old rules, it didn't even make a difference because they completed the first lap. So if it would have been last year's rule, it would have, and if it would have been last year's rule, it wouldn't have made a difference because they made it one full lap. The caution came out as they were coming out of two turns 1 and 2. So it would have been a finish, a wrap right then anyway. So that's not here nor there. Now people talking about, so they didn't throw it out right away, the inconsistency. The reason they didn't throw her out right away is they were waiting to see if all those vehicles could get out, all those cars could get out of the way before that pack came back around if they were going to take the checker flag and, you know, make sure that the track was going to be clear. That's what they waited on. That's why that caution was not thrown right away. They were trying to give an opportunity for there to be a green flag finish. But when the damage was, I want to say it was Mark Truex that got a considerable amount of damage, and realized that he was not going to be able to get out of the way before the pack came back around, that's when they went ahead and threw the caution. Or when they thought there was a possibility he would not be able to get out of the way, that's when they threw the caution. It had nothing to do with they were waiting for this person to be the leader to see what happened. No, they were trying to determine if that wreckage, even though it was in turn 1, turn 2, you trying to go from 200 miles an hour down to 35 miles an hour and make sure that you don't get tangled up in anybody else's stuff as safety crews and drivers are trying to, you know, get to, you know, out of the car or take care of the drivers or make sure everything's all right, especially since they hit the wall. That's what all that was about. So I really hate that the fans out there try to make it all about the inconsistency and about the rule, and that had nothing to do with it. NASCAR made the right call on that. They made the right call in waiting to see if those cars were going to get out of the way. Once they realized that field was going to come back around, it was going to be too fast, and they were not going to be able to get out of the way, then they threw that caution. It ended. Either way, it would have ended the same way if it had been this year's overtime fine rule or last year's green-white checker rule that they have. So it doesn't really make a difference. Denny Hamlin wins the Sprint Unlimited fundraise to watch. We'll talk a little bit more later on. But first, we got two guests joining us tonight. First, we got Tim Layton. He is the man behind Seek to Destroy Cancer. They have a real big event coming up here March 19th in, I say my hometown, even though it's not really my hometown. My hometown is in Ohio. But where I currently reside at, right up the road, very, very excited. Almost a month from now, we will have him and his event here in Fayetteville. And I'm going to let him come on the air and talk about it, and let him give the details and what to expect and everything about that. Then at 10 o'clock, we have Ruben Garcia join us. He is a race car driver, part of the Drive for Diversity program. Very excited, first time that he will be joining the show, and looking forward to having an opportunity to be able to meet this young, talented driver and kind of get to know him and look forward to seeing what he's going to do in the 2016 season. So got a great show planned for you guys tonight. Looking forward to having both these great guests on. We got Tim in the studio, so I want to go ahead and get him plugged on into the show. So without any further delay, how are you doing tonight, Tim?
I'm doing great. A little tired from all this rain.
I can imagine. Did you guys get much of the ice/snow that's been going on here in the Carolinas?
We got some sleet last Sunday, but that's about it. It's just been nothing but rain and cold rain at that.
That's what it's been here for the most part. I know today was a little more of a mixture. There's been a couple of days because I still got an ice mixture on my front porch, and we've been getting a little bit of the mixture stuff. But definitely tired of seeing it, and definitely tired of the cold air and the cold weather. But I'm glad to see you guys are here tonight. I know that we got an opportunity to kind of warm a lot of hearts with what you guys have going on. So I want to kind of give you an idea or give you an opportunity first. Before we jump into this, I want to give you an opportunity to plug yourself and plug the event and plug anything you can, social media-wise, website-wise, any of the great sponsors that are involved with this before we jump into the actual event. What's going on?
Well, the event's going to be taking March 19th at the John D. Fuller. We got to plug them, too, because that's where the event's going to be at. Plug the Facebook is facebook.com/SeekingDestroyCancer. The website where you can get tickets at or SeekingDestroyCancer.com. Some of the sponsors is 110 Nation. Let's see, allaboutwilmington.com, Advocare, iVape. I'm trying to top of my head. I don't have everything in front of me. I'm just trying to top of my head. But we got a lot of great matches going to be on there. Actually, the one of the matches, one of the guys will be in the match is on tonight. We'll bring on here in a few minutes. But it's what it's for, we're going to do it for the Fibrolamellar Cancer Foundation. It's a rare liver cancer that's there's no cure for it yet, and I mean yet because we will have found one, and it will be gone. The reason why I came up with doing this cancer event is my oldest daughter is 4 years old, was diagnosed with this liver cancer. She's the youngest. And the foundation has helped us out. So in return, I told them who I was and what I was doing, and we did one last year for them. Had about 700-800 people there, fans there. This year it's going to be a whole lot bigger. Got more stars coming, more matches. This year it's just going to be bigger, better, and better.
Now, I know that we talked originally back in, I want to say September. I think it's what I recall. It's either September or October. It seemed like September. So I know that you've been putting this together for quite a few months now, about 5-6 months easily. How long have you been working on this year's event? And how I guess I'm assuming it was probably, I'm not going to say easy, but to talk these guys into it, but how difficult or easy, I don't know, how much time did these guys have to dedicate to your event, but how hard or difficult was it to get all these great athletes to participate in this fundraiser?
Well, I started working on this year's back in May of last year, so actually almost a year. I just started contacting people, like the guy that's coming on here in a few minutes. I contacted him and the people that he's going to match with, talked it out with, worked out a deal with them. They came down, or they coming down. A lot of promotions come together, Ring Wars Carolina, Deep Southern, Championship Wrestling. I just made phone calls, worked out deals, them and they're coming. Then we got the flyer made by Joseph. If you're on our Facebook, on our website, if you click on the flyer, it'll take you over to his website, to where all our flyers were done by him. I've been working countless hours. I can't even count how many hours I've been working on it. Phone calls, emails, Facebook messages, you name it. It's probably, I have, if I could put a number, at least 1,000 hours into it.
Now, I know that I've seen, quite a few different videos, and I've seen a lot of these different athletes give up, their time to help make these videos and help sponsor and help get the words out. Have you been surprised on, how much support and how much these guys have gone above and beyond to help promote this event?
I have. A lot of these I wasn't expecting to get them. Like Blood War Animals sent one the other day. Bill DeMont is actually a former WWE head trainer. He was in NXT for a little bit. Brian Knobbs, Booker T, which is a Hall of Famer. Just a lot of them has done a lot of stuff for me. Waiting on some more, a couple more. And even a MMA fighter sent me a support video a couple months ago. Jessie, I don't remember her last name, but she was an MMA fighter in the lightweight.
Now, for I've not gone into a lot of details about the event. March 19th. At what time? I know there's a fan thing going on and kind of a meet and greet kind of thing. I'm kind of giving them the time on that, the time of the actual event, the pricing for the tickets. How many matches do you guys have scheduled on the sheet?
We have Fan Fest starts at 4 to 6. That's where you get to meet all the wrestlers, like the Boogeyman from WWE, Larry Zbyszko, Tim Zbyszko, his son. I get to meet Chance Prophet, Cahagas, LWF 4 champion Damian Wayne. We got like 30, 40 wrestlers there, so you can meet from 4 to 6. The tickets for adults are $15. That's adults from 12 and up. Kids 12 and under are only $8. That's and what you get for $8 and $15. That's all day event. From 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock is Fan Fest. 6 o'clock to about 9ish is when the show is going to be over. So you get a good 6 hours for $15. Right now we got scheduled 7 matches. The first match is going to be the Honor Rumble. The reason why we call it the Honor Rumble, a lot of people ask it, is it the Royal Rumble? Yes, it is. The reason why we call it the Honor Rumble is we are honoring and we call them warriors, that people have, the warriors who have passed away from this cancer. We're honoring them, honoring their life. That's why we call it the Honor Rumble. And we also have an honor award. Whoever wins gets the honor award. I won last year. I came in number 1 and outbeat 29 other people. How I did it, I have no idea. I was surprised myself. I won.
It definitely sounds cool, and it definitely sounds like it's going to be a action-packed kind of night. I know that wrestling is one of those things that it constantly grows and it constantly evolves, and I tend to kind of tune in at different times with everything going on, with the real life and the 110 Nation and the work and everything. My time is very limited, so I try not to allow myself to get sucked into anything unless it's directly sports related. And as much as I loved and I grew up, I can remember, and I know a lot of people, especially on Facebook, it'll show Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan in the ring talking about, if you remember this, your life was great. And I can remember WrestleMania 3, and I can remember Hulk Hogan picking up and body slamming Andre the Giant. And nowadays, I try to watch it as much as I can. And I had it on earlier when Brock Lesnar was out. And I unfortunately, because unless it's sports related, I try not to let myself get involved, because I will take my time and my attention away from what I'm supposed to be doing and get sucked into what's going on. And I know this because I remember the last time I really, really, really got dedicated to it was back when The Rock had changed from being part of the corporation to kind of being the people's champion, and spent that whole year being screwed over by Vince McMahon and DX and all that stuff. And I know that's a long time ago. And, I've watched it, throughout the years since then, but never allowed myself to get that dedicated to it, because I was spending hours on top of hours watching it. And I did catch the other night, I watched it where Daniel Bryan ended up doing his farewell, little ceremony and everything else. But I tell you what, is entertaining as it is and as fun as it is, it's a never-ending sport. And, Vince McMahon and the WWE, traditionally put on a really good show, and, it's entertaining. And it's great, too. We've had a lot of local matches that I've gotten to go to, and it has been really fun to watch, and it's entertaining to be able to watch, the dedication that these athletes have with an opportunity of possibly never making it more than being, a local show. So it's, really cool to have all these guys not only, with the uncertainties of where their career is going to go, but also be able to, put that aside for one day and come into an event that means so much more than their lives or so much more than their career or, whatever reason they're doing it, but to do it for a greater cause. It's really cool to see that.
Right. And actually, I'd like to bring on one of the guys that is coming down. I want to say from Virginia. He's going to be in a triple threat for the IWF world title. He is a former NWA champion, not a world champion. I can't remember the title he's held. But I'd like to bring on Chance Prophet. I don't know if he can hear me or not.
He's in the studio now.
What's going on? What is going on, Chance?
I'm listening to the sound of rain and listening to you guys talk a lot.
Well, I know you got a lot to I guess get off your chest. I know you've seen the video of, and I'm not trying to take it away from Jason, because I know you wanted to talk a little bit.
You good?
Because you obviously seen the video of Damian and Cahagas back in MCW. I don't want to say last weekend, and you've been quiet for a little bit about it, and I know you want to get off your chest a little bit. So,
well, first I was waiting see if those two were going to kiss or hug or fight each other. Sometimes we get a little bit intense, but these two like to get a little bit too close to each other's mouths, so I don't like it that much. Secondly, AIWF World Heavyweight Championship, I've competed for that before against Damian Wade, and I kind of like it. So I think while these two are busy hugging it out, I might just, I don't know, take one of their legs out, rip it off, and beat the other one over the head with it. I'm sick of seeing all these champions and their nose-to-nose confrontations. If you're going to fight, just fight. I personally could care less who's going to be in the ring with me, but these two men have been a thorn in my side for the better part of 7 years. So while I am glad to be a part of aiding cancer research for fibrocellular cancer, I get the joy of beating two of these people into oblivion that I've waited. But there was no other promotion that would do this because they were too afraid to get the three dogs in the ring because of what we do to each other. And you made it happen, but you were smart enough also to get Cue Ball involved. Cue Ball Carmichael.
Right. Like I said, as Jason talked to me earlier about, it didn't just work out in the beginning, Jason, and talking to Chance. It took a while to put that match together, to work out stuff with Chance and the Cahegas and them to get them coming in. These three guys are, they just wanted to beat the heck out of each other. And like I said, no other promotion wanted to do it, and we ended up working it out.
It takes a lot to set differences aside, and sometimes people get a little bit too political. And if you listen to the video and you listen to the hug fest that Damian and Cahegas had, he let a little bit of it be known. All three of us had a stake in a certain World Heavyweight Championship that was probably one of the most famous, if not the most famous World Heavyweight Championships. And for no other reason than politics, Damian and myself, with 10 other guys, got swerved, and Cahegas ended up in the mix, and he ended up winning the whole thing. So, go back to 2012, that's when this stuff really kind of came to a head, and we really needed to put it to an end back then. But over the years, we've kind of just grew even more violent towards each other. I mean, Damian and I barely survived a barroom brawl over the summer.
Right. With Jason, do you have anything do you want to say or ask Mr. Prophet?
I guess it's more of how I don't know. I want to. It's not so much geared towards this match, and I want to first of all thank you for participating in this event. Obviously, this is a really big deal and a really good thing that is going on, and to know that you guys are taking your time from your daily routine to be part of this event to help raise money for such an important cause. First of all, I want to thank you. What made you decide that this was a no-brainer thing for you? Not only because of the great match that you're going to be able to be involved with, but to take time, for you personally from your busy schedule to be a participant in this event.
Well, personally, I've lost way too many friends, family members, and I even recently had a cancer scare myself. So cancer and me are not friends at all, and I would like to do anything I can to help eliminate it altogether. And if it means renting my body out to the wrestling ring for a night, just to make sure that we're that much closer to ending the threat of, even if it's just one strain of cancer, I gladly would do it. So
now
that's really what brought me to it.
Now, I know that this wrestling catches a lot of heat because of the authenticity at times. And, I'm a growing up, you believe everything is real. And then, of course, as you get older, you kind of take and give of what you see, what you don't see. And, I know at times, things are what they are. But other times, I'm sorry, no matter how much you guys try to prepare for an event, going through a table or getting hit by a steel chair, no matter how good it is or how much you guys try to prevent it from being, as serious as it can be, there's going to be injuries, and there is a lot more real than a lot of people think. How tough is it, one, on your body, as we see Daniel Bryan retire from the WWE from the concussions and the wear and tear he's taken, and two, how do you prepare yourself and keep yourself in tip-top shape to be able to do this?
Well, it's a weird thing being in wrestling because I'm fine when I'm doing it, but if I have a week or two off, I'm miserable because I've been doing it for 17 years. And just recently, this past month, I had 7 screws and a plate removed from my ankle from an injury that happened about 8.5 years ago. And through all the wear and tear and banging and jumping off of high objects and and training involved too. I'd worked those screws out of their resting place, so they had to go in and remove everything. So basically, I have a new ankle. So that goes on. I've had chips removed from my elbows. I've broken every finger. I broke my neck and didn't know about it when I first started training. It's anybody that adds that F word, fake, to it, I'd invite them to go through one day of training and tell me how fake they think it really is. Wrestling it's a hybrid, and I won't go too into it, but the respect that it should have and the respect that it gets, it doesn't even help at all.
What got you into it? What made you decide that was the career you wanted to be?
Watching the Great Muta and Sting and Ric Flair. That was it for me. I watched the Great Muta versus Sting. I'd watched it before with my grandpa, and he got hooked watching it because it was something I could do with him. But whenever I saw the Great Muta and Sting, I was just like, oh my gosh, how do I get involved in this? And it was always something in the back of my mind. I mean, I was involved in sports from like the age of 6 on up. And I got involved in collegiate or amateur wrestling whenever I was in high school and blew out my knee. And one of my friends, his uncle was a wrestler and invited me to start training. And, of course, I jumped at it. So the athleticism was what appealed to me. Like everything else that goes along with it just was icing on the cake.
It's definitely cool, growing up, every kid, regardless, you continue watching when you got older, every kid watched it. I can remember, oh my God, we got, me and my brother, he's about just short of 2 years younger than me. We got these little stuffed bears. So they weren't necessarily little when we got them. And, we constantly tag team. When we would jump, we used our bed, our regular size, I want to say it was a regular size, maybe a twin bed or whatever, as our ring. And, of course, we jumped off the headboard, off the, as our top ropes. We constantly wrestled. We had our pajamas that we would wear for our wrestling outfits and everything else. And, of course, there was one time, and, a lot of people don't know how my size figure is. And, of course, both of us, or all three of us, were our friends on Facebook. So you guys kind of got an idea of my size. Well, my father was about the same size. And I'll never forget this. We were wrestling around in the living room, and I don't know what made my father decide to do this, but we act like we twisted his arm, and this grown man, at the age he was, and I would say he was probably in his 40s at that point in time, does a total flip and lands on his back right in the middle of the living room floor, and I swear I thought that damn hardwood floor was going to crack because he's a good 250 pounds. It just does this flip out of nowhere, and like we twisted his arm and made him flip, and I can remember all this stuff. And of course, every kid, God, I would love to do that, but to actually have, to be able to talk to people is actually done it and get, make the best of that opportunity, because not everybody gets to do it, and not everybody physically can do it. I couldn't imagine how sore you guys got to be and how much physical activity. And, I know that wrestling, the wrestling that you guys are involved with, and I want to kind of distinguish the difference here in a second versus, the collegiate and the Olympic wrestling, it's not necessarily viewed as a sport. But
yeah,
I visualize you guys and label you guys as athletes, because regardless on that being considered a sport and, the authenticity at times of what you guys are doing, you guys still have to be in tip-top shape, and you guys still have to be athletes. Even if there's very minimum going on in that ring, to be running around the ring for 30 minutes at a time, that takes an athletic, responsibility. And I think that's the biggest thing that, being a fan and watching it, that I kind of shake my head to when people sit there and talk about, well, those that wrestle in the WWE or back in the WCW or whatever company you happen to wrestle for, they're not athletes. This is how are you going to tell me that they're not athletes? They're in the gym every single day of the week. They're constantly working on their skill set to make them better at what they do. And I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 people that sat there and run their mouth about whether or not you guys are athletes or not got put in a ring and had to do what you guys had to do and put it at the level that you guys had to put it. I guarantee 5 minutes into that match, not only would the sweat be pouring off their body, but they'd probably be hunched over trying to catch their breath.
Oh, yeah. It's hilarious to see various people from various walks of life come in and train. And I've had a school before. Damien's got a school, and Haggis holds seminars. And you see these people come in that are in tip-top gym shape, and they think that they can handle it, but there's a different mentality that you have to put yourself into, and there's a whole different set of breathing. There's a whole different athleticism that even you have to keep your mind going with your body and not just rely on reflex alone. Because it's a catch can, it's a cat and mouse game, it's whatever you want to view it as, but the way we have to think about what we're doing makes us a completely different animal than any athlete out there.
And I want to say something about this, about the being inside the ring for 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour like I did last year, and Chance will agree with me on this too. It's cardio.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You have to have cardio or you will be puking.
Yep.
I can imagine cardio, and I can imagine at some extent you got to be limber, because there's a lot of moves that, when I was a little bit smaller, I could imagine that I could be put into certain positions or do certain moves, but now that, the off season and I've kind of put on some weight, I'm not that flexible right now, and so I can imagine not only cardio, but for your health's sake and the risk of injuries, I'm sure that you guys got to be real limber as well.
Yeah, that's why DDP yoga has taken off so well, too, because it showed us one of the guys, because no guy wants to think about, I got to do yoga if you're trying to exude any type of machismo whatsoever. But see a guy like Diamond Dallas Page get in there, and he brought it to us, and it was like, yoga's not just for girls, and you see the importance of keeping your back healthy and seeing how it revitalizes every part of your body and helps strengthens your joints and your connective tissues, not just working on your show muscles. It's so important just for longevity, but for even after guys leave the ring, for them to get involved in a yoga program, calisthenics. The game has changed. We don't have the big bulk monster. We've got a few guys like Moose and like the Boogeyman that are still just massive men that are huge and bulky. But if you look at the current crop of athletes that are in wrestling, they're more streamlined and built for speed and built for attack. Look at Caprice Coleman. That man he could probably hop on a track right now and beat like 9/10 of the people. He's in such great condition. But he can also tear through a guy and drop kick their head off.
Now,
exactly.
I
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I can agree with him on that, and also another guy who can drop kick your head off, and I want to say he's probably 6'5", 6'6". That's Moose from Ring of Honor. I mean, he can jump up there and hit you in the head. I was like, wow.
How long do you guys prepare for a match? And then also, at the same time, with wrestling being around as long as it has, and of course, everybody wants to have their thing, their move or their personal thing to kind of distinguish them. You had The Rock with his his capabilities on the microphone and him being electrifying. Ric Flair, as you brought earlier, was woo. Everybody, the big stars always have their thing that catches on. John Cena, You Can't See Me, Booker T and the 5-time. We can go through and name, all these different wrestlers and what their thing was. With wrestling being around as long as it has, how hard is it for you to find something to distinguish yourself different than others, to come up with something creative to kind of, separate yourself so you get that national attention to help put you on that bigger stage to eventually succeed to be where you want to be?
Well, if you look at my picture, you can tell that I don't exactly conform to what the normal wrestler looks like. But coming up with that and that being said, my little catchphrase is completely simple, and it's usually at the end of everything, and I say hi. And that's completely it, and it's that simple, but it connects with them, whether I'm the most vile person in the building or whether I'm a fan favorite. You just have to know how to connect to that audience, but you also have to know when to disconnect, because if you're sitting there worried about, well, am I worried about the audience or am I worried about getting this match to be the best match on the card, then you kind of lose it. And that goes back to me saying we're a different kind of animal. Get guys like The Rock, you get guys like Steve Austin who could turn it on and they could also entertain you. And then you get Shawn Michaels, who was just like the best all around, and even Kurt Angle. But you have so many people that just know how to connect, and they don't even have to say a word. And I'm along those lines. I do talk, as you can hear, and I don't shut up a lot when I start. But it's just, I don't know. You got to find your it, and if you don't have it, you need someone with it to accompany you to the ring and fix that for you.
Exactly. Now, and I want to say something about this. Like The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, they didn't start off as The Rock or as Stone Cold. Yeah. When they found The Rock, that's when they found it, and it became their it factor. Like Stone Cold was hell yeah, and flipping the finger, giving the boss a stunner, which it was hilarious every time I seen it. I wish I could do that to my boss sometimes, but I can't. Drinking the beer, and The Rock is saying poutine pie and the people's elbow and people champion. That just wasn't born overnight. It took time to get there.
Well, most definitely. I mean, and of course they went through different characters and everything else. And Stone Cold was WCW originally before he even made his way to the WWE, if I remember correctly. So, there's always a lot of trial, give and take before that it finally takes off. I just could only imagine, with all the talent that has came through wrestling throughout the years and everything that you've seen have worked and not worked, how difficult it's got to be to come up with something that is original so you're not labeled as copying somebody, but at the same time finding it to work as well. It just seems like that alone, not counting, preparing for the match and, the athletic side of it and just getting the opportunity, it's got to be something within itself, because nobody wants to be labeled as someone, well, you're just trying to be like this person, you're just trying to be like that person. Everybody wants to be The Rock or Stone Cold or, just have that it factor. And, some people it just comes natural, and some people, it takes a while to develop. And, I've been fans of different wrestlers throughout the years. Hulk Hogan fan growing up, and I became a big Ultimate Warrior fan, and, it kind of rotated throughout the years. But what The Rock did for the WWE when I watched it, and his capabilities on the microphone, it's got to be one of the most entertaining for me. I just love, listen to him, get the fans riled up and what he's got to say. As a matter of fact, I shared something from last year, on Facebook. They let you go down memory lane. I forget how many years ago it was, but The Rock this year returned after 7 years of being away from the WWE, and I got to see that earlier when he made that return. To, I think it was Monday Night Raw when he made that return after 7 years of being gone doing movies, and just to see that stadium or the arena just go crazy because he returned. I remember watching. I remember how I was. And, I just happen to be a big Rock fan. Most of the movies that he's in I like. Some of them are a little far-fetched for me. Some of the kid ones, like the Tooth Fairy, whatever, I just never got into. But, just trying to find that it factor, I can only imagine that being a whole, full-time, chore on it. I use the word chore loosely there, but a whole, that I'm sure that's got to be something within itself. How long do you guys prepare for your guys' matches? I'm sure that there's got to be at least some kind of run-through or some kind of something to make sure that, you guys have some kind of idea of how the match is going to go in your mind and, how the kind of compatibility is for the wrestlers. How much preparation goes into these matches?
It really kind of varies. With guys like Damien, Haggis, and myself, and the guys that work for Ring of Honor like Caprice Coleman and Moose, and you got your Amazing Reds. This is kind of our job, so we're from town to town so much that we're just kind of always on. And when we come against somebody that we've never been in the ring with before, we prepare by watching tape. It's kind of like football. And that's one of the good things that's happened with the internet is you can, the internet and wrestling, you can actually look up your opponent, check out what they're doing, and not know them that well and be able to say, okay, I know you do this, I know you do that, so I've got a handle on you, buddy. So when we find out we're getting to work with each other, we usually don't even have an idea what each other are like. If we're traveling as much as Haggis and Damien and myself, so it varies. It's just one of those things. But then again, with Damien, myself, and Haggis, it's going to be given that it's pretty much going to be punching, kicking, and choking, and scratching, and fighting, and all out brawl. So that's T-Ball Carmichael's involved to kind of tame that down, or at least try to tame that down. But he'll probably end up involved. Well, if he gets in my way, I have to throw a few his way. So it varies.
And I want to go off of what Chance did. It like he said, it varies from months to maybe an hour, because sometimes we don't know who we're facing until we get there, and then we're just like, okay. And then we look at, like you said, look at videos on, hold on. We look it up on the internet, with our phones and stuff, and see who we're working with. But I know Chance has got some stuff going on with, like I said, with his ankle. I know he's probably having it setting up right now for March. Chance, you want to say anything else? Last thing?
When I come to Fayetteville, I know that Damien and Haggis have already kind of made it clear what they're going to do to each other. I am going to do a lot of the same and probably wait till they've beaten themselves half to death to do what I want to do. So, thanks, boys, for setting the tone. I'll finish it.
Well, there you go. And people are asking where we get tickets at. You can get them online at seekandshortcancer.com under the ticket tab. You just go up top and click on it. And actually, we still got a deal going on. We haven't took it down yet, and we're going to let it go on for another week or two. If you order your ticket, well, now actually you get a couple things. If you order your ticket at the Valentine's special, you get a ticket, that's DVD. The show will be on DVD. You get a copy of it whenever it comes out in April. And also Hershey Company, and I'm sure Chance probably would love this, donated 15 pounds of Reese's and Kit Kats. So if you order your tickets and there's any left over for the show, you get a goodie bag courtesy of Hershey Company and Seek to Destroy Cancer.
That's a sweet deal.
Well, I want to thank Chance. I definitely want to thank Tim for coming on tonight. When Tim came to me last October, September time frame, I was definitely all in. Of course, one thing after another came up. I had to move and vehicles break down and everything else. But I'm glad that everything worked out, that we could still be a part of the show and help make this all possible. And so I want to make sure that I thank you guys, not only for coming on the show, but doing this 2 years, exactly 2 years removed from losing my aunt to cancer. She passed away 2 years ago this month, beginning of this month. I have my hope and strength cancer bracelet on. I wear every single day since then. So obviously that's something that, we're already highly involved with a lot of things. We got an event with somebody I met from Personal Motor Speedway with the 65 roasted in April. It's one of those things that we like being involved with, but the cancer thing obviously is a little bit more personal to certain people, and of course I'm one of those certain people. So I'm glad that not only did we have you guys on the show, but we're able to be involved and help make this event be a go and be a successful event. Chance, I want to wish you the best of luck on your match. Definitely looking forward to seeing you March 19th and be able to talk to you there. Tim, obviously we'll be keeping in touch. And
right. Can I plug one more thing before I forgot?
Yeah.
With Chance, I don't know if he's still on. Chance and me got together. If you get a DVD with Chance's cover on the front of it, he will personally autograph it, and it's only $20. So you get a personalized DVD of Chance Profit. You just go online on our website and get it and order it.
That's definitely cool. I know the fans out there are going to definitely enjoy that and want a personalized autograph copy of the event. So make sure you guys check that out. You guys go over to SeekToDestroyCancer.com, order your guys' ticket. Go ahead and put your hold-ons for the event and get it on DVD as well. Make sure you guys like them on Facebook. You guys can check them out on Facebook, Seek to Destroy Cancer. We've also shared the link on our fan page as well. If you guys are having difficulties, which is very simple, Seek to Destroy Cancer. If you guys have difficulties, all you can do is go through our timeline. It is on there as well. We'll be sharing it again. As a matter of fact, when we get off the show, I'll share it again on our timeline. That way you can make it easier for you guys to go over there and like it as well. Tim and Chance, I want to thank you guys for calling in tonight. Looking forward to March 19th. You guys stay warm, and we'll be talking to you all real soon.
Well, I appreciate you allowing us on tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Bye.
You guys have a great night. That was Tim Latham, the man behind Seek to Destroy Cancer. A big event coming up March 19th, as you heard. Talking about 30, 40 different wrestlers, 7 matches up on the card. Obviously, the honor. Now I'm jacking it up. There's the honor match. Message me back so I can properly say that, Tim. I know you're still listening. Honor. Okay, that's what I want to say. Honor Rumble. Definitely looking forward to that. I will be there in person as well. As I will be taking my son, and I'm assuming I'm going to take one other guest. I'm waiting to be determined whether or not Shorty is going to be off that day or not. If not, I have a really big wrestling fan that is definitely wanting to go. He's had all plans of going, so I might make him my second recipient of a ticket to go to this event. I'm still kind of working out those details, but definitely going to be down there. definitely looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to meeting all these great athletes that will be participating in this event to make this a very successful event. And make sure you guys listening, if you guys are in the Fayetteville, North Carolina area, March 19th, make sure you guys make your way down there. Help them raise this money for this very important cause, as we definitely need to find a cure for this particular strand of cancer to help make everybody's life more enjoyable and long-lasting, and help destroy every strand and every kind of cancer out there. Being part of that, and then, of course, being part of the More Than Just Me event for cystic fibrosis, which they still don't have a cure for that either. Obviously, those are both very big events for us here at the 110 Nation to be part of, and very honored and thankful that we are a part of it. And not only did we, was invited to be part of it, but also that we was able to get the resources together in time to be part of it. It was no easy task. I thought it was going to be easier than what it was. We just ran into a lot of complications between vehicles constantly breaking down, different appliances breaking down, having to move before we thought we was going to have to move, and having to get another vehicle that we're supposed to pick up tomorrow. Just a lot of different things have come up, and so it's one of those things that we kept in touch, and I kept reassuring them that we had things, working on getting things in place, and thankfully everything lined up the way it did, and was able to get that out and be part of this great event, and definitely looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to being part of being there at the event and help making it possible. We got Ruben Garcia joining us at 10 o'clock. Very excited about the opportunity of having him on the show, as he, as a young, talented driver, is part of the Drive for Diversity program. We're going to learn about his path to the K&N Pro Series, see how his 2016 season has rolled off. If I'm not mistaken, he was part of yesterday's wild and crazy race that they had out there. There was a lot of messages relayed to me on the event, so definitely looking forward to talking to Ruben and seeing how things are starting off for 2016 for him, and getting to know him. As you know, we like to do that here at the 110 Nation, especially the first time we get them on the show, is to kind of get to know their path to where they're at. And it's always an interesting story, and it shows dedication. It shows how hard it is and how long the path truly is to be an athlete and to be, where they're at, regardless if they're still working their way, through the ranks, I guess is the word we could use, or if they've already got to where they want to be, or, are content where they're at. It's always a great story and entertaining and newsworthy to know what it took to get there. We talk about the path, and we're not athletes here. We just talk about athletes here, but the 5-year path has taken us to get where we're at now. And, to go from that first time that I was on the radio and I scheduled a 15-minute show and was trying to be super quiet and talk like this because I didn't want anybody to hear me because, this is the first time I've ever done this, to realize very quickly in that first broadcast that, hold on, I need to extend this time. I could talk a lot longer than 15 minutes to now we're on the air, I think I calculated about 20 and a half hours a week. And I would say only about 3 of those hours I'm not actually on. The other 17 and a half hours a week I'm participant in, either by myself or part of a show. So definitely interesting to get to know everybody's, path to where they got them. We got Ruben in the studio. Get ready to plug him in. Before I do, make sure you guys check us out on Twitter. You can follow me at CJ Sports 1. You can follow the 110 Nation at 110 Nation. Also, check us out on Facebook, my personal fan page, Mr. CJ Sports, the 110 Nation fan page, 110 Nation Sports. Also, check us out our blog site, www.the110nationsports.com, or check out our company site, www.the110nation.com, for all the latest going on here at the 110 Nation. Well, to continue this thing, this Friday we had Sarah Cornett Ching, we had Dylan Lumpton going into the Saturday's race of the ARCA Series. Of course, we kicked off earlier tonight with Ruben is Racing at 8 o'clock tonight, and then now we got Ruben Garcia joining us to talk about his race. We got to keep with this thing with the race. I mean, 2016 season's here. If you were in the ARCA Series, the K&N Pro Series, your season is already officially kicked off. If you're in all the rest of the series, either you kind of had your preseason race with the Sprint Cup Series, or this week you are qualified, you are testing, and your season begins. If it's Camping World Series, if it's Xfinity Series, if it's the Sprint Cup Series, any way you look at it, this is it. This week kicks off pretty much everything. If you want to throw Sunday and Saturday in there as well. The last 2 days where they kicked off their season. This is the greatest time of the year to be a NASCAR fan. By no stretch of the imagination there. So without any further delay, let's get our young talented driver on the show tonight. Ruben, how are you doing tonight? And of course it took us. There we go. Ruben, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am doing great. Glad to have an opportunity to have another young, talented driver on the show, a first-timer. So looking forward to be able to meet you and get to know a little bit about you. Before we jump into this real quick, I want to give you an opportunity to plug yourself, as it be social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you have to use. Also, personal, racing site, team site, whatever the case may be, or any sponsors you want to throw out there. That way the listeners can get to know you as a person and follow you throughout 2016 and moving forward.
Yeah, sure. They can find me on Twitter and Instagram as @RubenGarcia4. And for other news, our Rev Racing team will be posting things on their Twitter. It's @RevRacing. Also in their website, revracing.com. So anyone who would like to follow us during the season can follow those sites.
Now, Ruben, at what age did you get into racing?
When I was 5, I started go-kart racing in Mexico.
Is racing a big thing down in Mexico?
Yeah, right now with NASCAR Mexico Series, people are getting used to NASCAR in Mexico, so this sport is growing in our nation. And right now, NASCAR Mexico Series is the biggest series we have in our country. We have a lot of young drivers like me trying to come to one of the national series here in America by doing the K&N Series or by the Combine, like what I am doing this year.
How big is it that the NASCAR, more specifically the Xfinity Series, started running down there? Is that, in your opinion, is that a real big, a good thing for NASCAR, and does it really help develop and gain, I guess, a fan base down there with the Xfinity Series running down there?
Yeah, I think it did help because it gave the opportunity to a lot of Mexican drivers to show up themselves and show all the sponsors and all the teams here in America that in Mexico there are a lot of talented drivers, that there are, we have enough talent to make a lot of our drivers to come here in America and make really good jobs.
Started off with go-karting, and I talk about those all the time. It blows my mind to, hear you guys start at such a young age, having, helped raise 4 kids, and never could imagine any of them being in a go-kart at 5. I'm lucky to imagine them making it from one end of the house to the other end without either tripping on their own 2 feet or running into something. It always blows my mind to see that there are so many young, gifted children out there that athletically inclined to be able to drive go-karts. How was that for you growing up, being a race car driver, trying to, handle having some kind of social life, having school, and trying to pursue your dream of being a race car driver? How hard was that to balance all that?
Yeah, well, sometimes it's hard because, a lot of events in a normal teenager life, it's going to parties, hang out with your friends, going to school, weekends, maybe having social events with family or with friends, and you miss a lot of that things because of racing. So you really need to know what you're looking for and what you're able to sacrifice to get to what you're looking for, like to get to your dream. So sometimes you have to give one thing to get another. I mean, yes, sometimes it gets hard because there is some times where you really would like to be like in your best friend's birthday or at your school's party, like those events that for a teenager are important, but you can't because you're racing. But also you are doing what you like to do, like what you like to do the most. So it's like a balance, getting one thing to another. School sometimes it's a little bit hard because racing requires a lot of times and a lot of travel, and sometimes schools they don't really understand that. Like they think you are just doing this for as a hobby or like just for fun during weekends. And it's not like it's professional, even though you're not at the highest level, but it's getting professional. It will get you to the highest level. So you need to deal with this time and have like order all your times to make all of the things done.
One, when you tell people you're an athlete coming from Mexico, how many people just naturally assume when you say the word athlete that you're a soccer player? That not to be stereotypical, but Mexico is known for a lot of great soccer athletes and not so much traditionally NASCAR drivers. And two, what made you want to be a race car driver? What is it? Something that's passed down in your family? Is it something that you jumped into the car and just felt this could be me, or what got you into racing?
Yeah, I think it was my family. My dad used to race back in Mexico. He races some Formula races when they were some Formula championships in Mexico. He also ran touring cars in Mexico. He did the NASCAR Busch Series race when they went back to Mexico. So in my family has been involved in racing for many, many times. I remember when I was a really young kid, the best thing that could happen to me during the weekend was to going with my dad to the race weekend and being there close to the cars, close to the other drivers, and I saw those drivers like heroes, like this goal every single kid has. Like they want to be an astronaut, they want to be a president, they want to be like something really big. Well, my dream was to be like all these guys, all these drivers like I saw in Mexico. And I remember jumping at the kart when I was really 5 and going to my first race, and I had so much fun that I said like I would like to do this for the rest of my life. And then I think the second time when I got pretty sure that I would like to be a NASCAR driver is when I did my first race in an oval in a small stock car, and that race was so much fun that I enjoyed that much. I had such a great time that I decided that I would like to pursue my dream and climb up to the highest level.
Now, you were part of the Drive for Diversity program. How much has that helped change your career, and how excited was you when you had the opportunity to go to the combine, and even more when you found out that you were selected?
Yeah, it helps a lot because, as a Mexican driver racing in the Mexico Series, also with my family support, like I could get there step by step, always getting better and better. And then there's a time when like you get to a limit where the next step is like a really big step, and it's leaving Mexico to start racing in one of the NASCAR American Series. And that's like a big step for me as a Mexican because, it's hard to get sponsors. Like in Mexico, for me, it's hard to get sponsors to race in Mexico. So to get sponsors as a Mexican living in Mexico to race in America is even harder for me. So when I got this opportunity at Brave Racing, I think first of all it came like at the right time because I was last year I was NASCAR Mexico champion. So like in Mexico I got to the highest level I could ever get. So the next step was coming to make a full-time season in America, and this opportunity came just in time for continue growing up my career, and to get this opportunity with the support of a great team like Rev Racing and all those guys in that team, with such a great program like NASCAR Drive for Diversity and NASCAR involved in that, was like that opportunity came just in the perfect moment.
What all series have you? Obviously the go-kart series, and you've been in the K&N Pro Series. What other cars and what other series have you had an opportunity to run in throughout your career so far?
I run 2014 3 races in the Nationwide Series. I've run the NASCAR Mexico Series. I've run some other series in Mexico. I run some Touring Endurance Series in Mexico. We have like kind of modifieds in Mexico. There are stock cars with a V6 engine that is like our Xfinity in Mexico for the Mexico Series. So I ran there for 2 years before I started racing in NASCAR Mexico Series. And then, this year, the NASCAR K&N Series.
Was there much of a difference from running with the competition that you ran in Mexico versus being here stateside and running with that competition level, or is the competition level kind of the same in the sport for you?
Yeah, like competition in Mexico is really good, like in the top 10. There are a lot of out there that can come here and make a really good job. But what is the most difficult part for me is like the cars and the tracks. There are so different cars and tracks here in America than what I'm used to in Mexico. I think that's the biggest part, and also how the race is going here. It's very different. I still need to get used to that stuff in here.
How hard has it been with the language barrier? At times, I know that it's got to be difficult. You know what you're trying to say, and you know what you need to be, to have changed in the vehicle, but maybe have, not the right words or lack of the barrier with your deep Mexican accent, your Spanish accent, versus who you worked with. Has it been something that's, been difficult, or has it not been, that bad to be able to relay what you need to have happen to the car to make the car run better?
Yeah, actually, it is a problem. It has not been that bad because my crew chief is really patient and he understands quite much of what I'm trying to say. So, I mean, I'm getting better by the time to speak in English, but I'm still have a lot to improve. So the thing is that in Mexico we use most of the terms in English, so that has been helping a lot. But but I need to learn most of the terms that they use in here, so that I can have great communication with my crew chief.
I can imagine at times that being somewhat difficult. How has marketing been for you? Is it been hard? I know being anything other than the traditional country white driver throughout the years in NASCAR, it's kind of been a little bit more difficult for anybody other than that. That's just what the sport was growing up and what we traditionally watched. And we've had other races out there running. We've had females for a long time, but it's not been until I would say the last, maybe 10 years that it's become more of a common thing and more acceptable. Not that, it's not been accepted, but, it's just not been one of those things. How hard has it been for you, especially coming up through the ranks, trying to find sponsorship and marketing yourself, being, a minority in the sport and being someone that is not maybe got the background such as your Chase Elliott's or your Austin Dillon, the grandson of Richard Childress, or anybody else that's already born into and has a family name.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's difficult because, as you have said, it is an American sport. You've seen all these drivers coming through all the stairs to getting to the Sprint Cup Series. They're one way or another involved with people that have been here for years. So like I don't telling that makes the way easier for them. But I mean, they have all the contacts. They know who they need to speak with and who can help them. Who they need to be close to him for advices. that's the thing that I don't know because I've never lived here. I follow the sports, but just like a fan in Mexico, watching the races on the TVs, maybe traveling to some races as a fan and watching the race on the stands, on the grandstands. That's been hard. But the good thing is like NASCAR have noticed that they have big marketing on like minorities, like Latinos, like Afro Americans, like girls driving in the sport, and they have been making a great job making these development programs, such as like Drive for Diversity program, like NASCAR Next, in which I'm still part of that program. So there's those opportunities to drivers like me that they're racing all other places in the world that they are trying to get into the NASCAR American Series. It really helps. Like it helps you get exposure. It helps you to come and start racing here, start to live here, and meet people, and that helps us a lot.
I can only imagine, like I said, not having, the racing background, and then on top of that, coming from, Mexico and everything else that, kind of stacks up and trying to build your name and trying to, market yourself. I know Daniel Suarve last year did a very good job, and he overcame a lot of odds, and of course the communication barrier and trying to let the crew know exactly what he needed to be done differently, and Kyle Busch doing what he did. I remember last year watching him during one of the races actually jump into Suarve's car and try to get a feel of it, because they just could not get it down to what needed to be adjusted. And it's really good. What I like about the Drive for Diversity program, and what I like about the way the sport and the direction is going, is we get an opportunity to see the talent out there that we should have been able to see all along. That NASCAR and the old school NASCAR anyway had those blinders on and was kind of set in their way that this is the stereotype driver that they want. This is the traditional background they want their drivers to have, and that was kind of all that was really accepted in the sport. And just to see over the last 10, 15 years, to see the sport go into a different direction, and not only with the minorities and the females, but on top of that, it wasn't so much the traditional Southern guys. You got Jimmy Johnson coming from California, and Jeff Gordon coming from a little upper city, and even the traditional drivers no longer became traditional, because now you started taking all lives of every nationality, not just the traditional Southern drivers that they'd had for so long. So I mean, it's just great for the sport and a great opportunity to see the talent that we should have been seeing all along. Now the sport is opening up a lot more to us be able to finally see it like we should have been. Did you participate in yesterday's race?
Yes, I was in Smyrna.
And how did you do?
We test on Saturday. I was getting used to these cars because, as I said before, these cars are so different of what I'm used to driving in Mexico. So I used that test to learn about these cars, learn about the track. I've never been on a track that small, so I get too used to that car, that heavy car in that small track. But we were not bad. We were running around 12, 11. And then on Sunday's practice, we were running about the same, like 12, 11. On qualifying, we couldn't get that much luck. We qualified on 19th. And then during the race, things changed a lot. I mean, I didn't know that the setup we were using during practice will change that much for race. Now I know that. That's the things you learn on the process of getting adapted to these cars. So it was a little bit tough for me during the race. I was running sometime in the top 20. Then, like on the last half of the race, my car was getting a little bit slower, but I finished up, I think, 20th. I learned a lot about this race. I think it's part of the process to get used to these cars, get used to this format. These races are way shorter than what I'm used to in Mexico. So it's harder to pass because there are too many cars and they're too big for these small tracks. I mean, we have small tracks and we have big tracks, but yesterday's track was pretty small. So I'm getting used to it. I'm learning a lot. I have a lot of people that have been supporting me a lot in the team, in Rev Racing. Also in NASCAR, a lot of people have been supporting me. So hopefully we'll get many more races with better results during the year.
How difficult is it for you to not get discouraged, knowing yourself, knowing how good of a driver you are, and knowing that you have certain expectations out of yourself through, for this year, and you obviously want to make the most of the opportunity you was given so you can continue, moving up in your career? How hard is it not to get discouraged by yesterday's performance? This is all new to you. The track's new to you. The size of the car. The size of the car versus the shortness of the track, it being a half-mile track. How hard is it to not get discouraged and keep your head up and look forward to the next race versus kind of beating yourself while you're down?
Yeah, sometimes it gets hard because, like, in Mexico, last year I won Mexico Championship. I led, like, 700 laps. I got 5 poles. So last year it was really good for me. It was a year full of success in my career, and then this is a big jump for me. Starting from, I need to change to leave my country, to live in a new one, to leave my culture, to live like in a totally different culture, leave my family, leave my friends, to come to all of these things are new for me, and then come and race to a series where I don't know almost anybody that is racing there. I may know their names or may have been racing them, but I mean, I don't actually know them. So it has been hard, but that feeling to getting to your dream is what keeps me pushing forward. I mean, I know that this is a process I need to go through. It depends on me how fast this process comes, how much I put into this project so that I can get back as much feedback as I need, how much attention, how much dedication do I give to this project. So I think I know this will end at one time. We're going to be really competitive really soon. This process, we were talking about a moment ago about the language. So I need to get used to the terms they use in here. I need to get used to the communication with my crew chief. I have a great support from my crew chief. So it's just a process. I mean, last year's success, I think it's a great motivation for me to keep going.
I didn't even think about that. Would you, like the rest of the drivers on the Rev Racing team, did you move to the North Carolina area?
Yes, everyone has been really nice to me. I felt really welcome, especially at the team. My first days at the shop, I was getting there like the new guy. I don't know anybody, but everyone was there to welcome me. Really, really nice. So I felt like I was where I need to be. Everyone is teaching me everything I don't know, helps me when I need it. So that helped me a lot. The support I'm getting back from my team, it has been helping me a lot.
Now, we had a couple of the other drivers on, and one of them came from California, and the other one, Ali Kern, came from Ohio. And so I know that was quite an adjustment for both of them. I think Jay was from California. So I know that there was a big adjustment for them to move from, where they're from to North Carolina. How much of an adjustment is it for you to move from a completely different country, move from Mexico to North Carolina? Moving to North Carolina, has that been a big adjustment for you as well?
Yes, because, I'm coming from another country. So, for me, every single process, every single simple process for American citizens, for me it's harder because, a simple example, if you want to go and change your name for your new property for the electricity, you just send an email with your social security number and your name, and your new address, and they will answer you back as soon as they can, and that's all the process. Like, well, I'm not American, so I don't have a social security number, so I need to go to the what's the name? I have to go to
the Social Security Commission office or whatever it's called.
No, to the I forgot the name. Well, I got to go to an office to speak with a man for him to write me a letter, showing all the documents. Like, and what I'm trying to say, like, every single process is like a little bit harder for me because I'm not from here. So that has been good because it has made me learn a lot of things that I didn't know too. It has made me grow up as like off track. So those are the things that, like, small things that help you also on track because you're growing up as person, even though you're getting more mature. So it has been a good process, actually.
And I completely understand, especially the whole learning up thing. I was 18 years old. I joined the military, and I got stationed down here in North Carolina, and I was here for 3 days, and they told me I was going to Bosnia and to have an opportunity to go overseas and see what I got to see and experience. It definitely get an opportunity to get away from home and be on your own, especially at a young age. Definitely helps you grow up a lot quicker, and especially when you go to another country and you either get to see things differently or you get to experience things differently, or you got to do everything on your own. It helps you grow up a lot quicker than you ever expected, or makes you realize how grown up you really weren't. 18 years old, going to the military, I'm an adult, I'm grown, I can that and the other. Yeah, and I quickly learned how much growing up I still needed to do when I was in the military, when I was overseas. 2015. When is your guys' next race?
1 month. It's gonna be at Mobile International.
And for yourself, what kind of goals? I mean, obviously we know that a championship or winning a race is every driver's goal, but outside of those two, obvious goals, what are a couple of your personal goals this year? If it be, finish every race or bring the car home in one piece, or, so many top tens, or whatever the case may be, or maybe it's, learning this whole barrier between, your nationality and trying to, make it easier for yourself, whatever the case may be. What are a couple goals for you in 2016?
I think my goals during the year will be changing very quick. It depends on how fast I will get adapt to this process. But first, I mean, my goals during all season are gonna be to bring the car in one single piece every single race, finish every single race on the lead lap. Of course, getting top 10s. When I start getting top 10s, well, we will climb to getting top 5s. When we start getting top 5s, we will start looking for winning races. But I know it's a process. I would like to get there next race and to know that I have the chance to win the race. But sometimes you have to be a little bit real, to don't get frustrated if your goals don't get when you would like them to get. No, you have to be realistic on your goals and set goals. I don't want to sound like mediocre, but to set goals, you know that if you work hard, you can reach, and that way you can go step by step in the process and don't speed the process to don't get to the wrong place at the wrong time. So go step by step to be at the right place at the right time.
Gotcha. Completely understand. Ruben, I don't want to tie up any more of your time, as obviously, like all the rest of the drivers out there in the world, you guys have a busy schedule and a lot of things to do, even though with the race not for another month away for your next race. I am sure that you guys got plenty to do and plenty of things to keep you guys occupied. I definitely want to thank you for coming on the show tonight. I was glad to be able to get to meet you, and the fans definitely love getting to learn about all the young, talented drivers out there in the NASCAR and any of the series. So definitely want to thank you for your time. Looking forward to seeing you back on the track. I'm definitely looking forward. I believe I saw Dominique say something about either this Tuesday or next Tuesday that they'll be televising the race that you guys had yesterday. So I'm definitely looking forward to be able to see you guys out there on the track, and looking forward for that coverage to be on TV. But I definitely want to wish you luck on 2016 season and moving forward for the rest of your career, and hopefully we get you back on the show sometime soon.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and thank you for having me in your show.
Yes, sir. You have a great night.
Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was Ruben Garcia, driver in the K&N Pro Series, part of the Drive for Diversity program with Rev Racing. Very, very talented driver, as you heard. I tell you what, I couldn't imagine. I know what it was like for me to go overseas and try to adjust to, you know, all their culture and their rituals and everything, being in the military and you know, having our base and you know, we obviously got to go visit the town, got to go hang out in Budapest and a couple of the surrounding areas. So I remember being over there. McDonald's was a brand new thing, and you know, we was finally glad to be able to get out of off the chow hall, because you know that food was the same food every day for a year. And we had a Burger King that was set up out of a little camper that they had over there. It was a little expensive. Wasn't really, you know, it was one of the things that I went to, but it wasn't very often that I went there, just because of the price. And they had another addition to what we call the fest tent. On one side, it had the pool tables and served alcohol. And there was a lot of times I would get on the pool tables early in the day, you know, if I had a day off or the weekend, 11, 12 o'clock, and I would be on that pool table until the place shut down at 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, it got to the point I played pool so much over there. I was really on my game, and I spent a lot of time on the pool tables. And on the other side, they had a stage. They had some live performances for that they brought over. I know the Laker Girls was one of the things they brought over, but they had a couple bands over there. I can't remember all at this point. I just remember the Laker Girls, and that was more because there's still pictures floating around, and I've moved twice, so I've seen the pictures recently in photo albums. But the other side, you know, they had a stage, they had a bunch of tables, and we would have, you know, our group was the first one. We had an actual DJ that was in our unit, so he ended up having all his, you know, DJ stuff sent overseas. And so, we had different nights. We had country night one night, R&B another night. You know, it got to, we kind of turned it into a club up in there. But finally got to start going off, you know, actually, before I said that, you know, we had a little add-on to it, and it was like kind of like a Baskin Robbins on one side. It had like an ice cream place. I didn't go there much either because it was expensive. And they had another side that had like wings and something else. And I remember my squad leader talk about the wings, and you know how they made him feel like his rear end was on fire. Talking about they were on point going down, but coming out they make you feel like you were on fire. And I had never been a wing person, but I was like, you know what, let me try these wings. And you know, I ate these wings, and I'm just like, God, these are some good wings. I'm not a wing person, but they ain't good, and they really ain't that bad. I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, until it was time to come out. And, yes, it made you feel like you wished that you was sitting on ice while you took care of business, because it was horrible. I ain't never felt fire come out like that before. But we eventually got to be a little bit more active and kind of, you know, we got an opportunity to get all posts on. And they opened it up, you know, things. Because when we first got over there, it was right after they had their conflict over in Bosnia, so everything was still kind of locked down, and you know, it was real tight on what you could do and couldn't do. Then they kind of opened the rings after we was there for a while, because you know, now it was peaceful. It had been peaceful for such a long time that there was really no threat of anything. And we had what they called a media center, and you know, we had to take their little bus system over to the other side of post, and because there was a big field that separated the two parts of post, and then once you got to the other side, then you walked to the media center, and it was like a maybe 3 to 5 minute walk at most to the media center. It was not, you could see the gate from the front of the building. So it might not have been that long, I don't remember, but it was like super cheap. It was nothing for me to have a steak dinner and I forget how much it cost for the steak dinner. I want to say it was less than $10, but I was 3 sheets to the wind with less than $5. It was ridiculously cheap to eat there, and it got to the point once everybody caught on, it was hard to get out there because it was just so packed. Because you had two post sides of a base that was going to this media center because it was ridiculously cheap, and I think we ended up getting banned after a while because. One, I think part of it got to do with nobody was buying beer out of the beer tent no more, the fest tent no more, because it was so much cheaper to go off post. But you had a bunch of young GIs that just was unable to control your alcohol, and especially since there was a lot of them drinking under 21 because there was no age thing over there and nobody checked IDs over there. Even at the fest tent, I drank the whole time I was over there, and I didn't turn 21 until well after I came back. As a matter of fact, 4 or 5 months after I came back is when I finally turned 21. So, it was one of those things that, you just had a bunch of young 18 to 20-year-olds that didn't know. I mean, not that the ones above were no better, but you had a lot of immature, kids that weren't young adults, I guess, that weren't ready to handle their alcohol. But, we got to stay in Budapest, or hang out in Budapest. I remember they put their first McDonald's over there while we was there, so... Of course, we were all craving to go get some McDonald's while we was, over there. So something we hadn't had in months at that point in time. It was really cheap, and it was good. And, I had just threw away, we call them shower shoes in the military, but you basically wear like flip-flops to go take a shower just to prevent the spreading of athlete's foot or disease or anything else, especially while I was overseas because you actually had to walk to the shower thing. It was like one like, single wide trailer with a bunch of little individual shower stalls in it, so you had to walk to it, and then you were constantly just in behind someone taking a shower, and then once you got out, someone else was jumping into it because there wasn't that many showers, and to the equivalence, I mean, you got figured there was 8 people to a 10 as it was, and there was a crap full of tents, but there was only like two trailers set up with showers, maybe a third, so you can imagine how much of a weight that could add up to be the soldiers versus shower time. But hell, I just threw away, and you figure I got those in 97, and I just threw them away in this move. So I had them for 20 years, and there wasn't nothing wrong with them. I mean, they were still usable. I just, after moving since I got out of the military, eventually I just got tired of carrying along some sandals that I hardly ever wore anymore, and wasn't aware from any other purpose, and then maybe to go to the mailbox or the trash, take trash outside kind of more deal. I still have a Reebok jacket that I bought while I was in Budapest. I got it real cheap. Like the sandals only cost like $3. The Reebok jacket cost less than $10. It's weird because I don't know because it was overseas or whatever, but it actually zips up backwards. Like instead of your zipper normally being on your right hand side to zip up, it's actually on the left hand side of the zipper. So it's a little bit different. But I don't even remember why I was even talking about it, other than just talking about having to grow up and the differences between the two. And I think the funniest story that I have while I was over there was we went and I was back in the Doctors of Sports. While I was in Sarajevo, Bosnia, I was down there on a 2-week project, and I spent most of my time in Tazar, Hungary. I was in Croatia for 2 months. I was part of a detail, and then I was in Bosnia for 2 weeks, and one of the days I was down in the dining facility, which, it was one of those things that, everybody from all nations used to, it was a base that everybody stayed at. There was French soldiers, there was German soldiers, there were blah, blah, blah. I don't know all the different countries that had representatives there, but, it was a little bit of everybody, and we're sitting we're sitting and getting ready to eat. This is when mad cow disease was a thing. They had something going on at that point in time. Just like every once in a while there's mad cow disease brought up, and just like the whole H1N1 or whatever the case may be. That was just one of those things. You had the bird flu, and mad cow disease was something that was going on at that particular moment in time. And so we're sitting in the DFAC, or the table of the DFAC, and we're eating steak, and I'm with a guy that happened to be from Columbus, Ohio. We stayed probably originally from about an hour and a half apart, and we used to travel, before we went overseas, we used to travel home every weekend together. So it was one of those things that, we happened to sit down there together, so we happened to things that we happened to be sitting there together, and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, like, I just start moving and going crazy. Talking about the mad cow disease. I was eating steak, and this dude just went, like, his face just turned red, and I have never seen anybody so embarrassed because of what I was doing, and I was just acting like I just moving and acting like I had horns and everything else. It was definitely and oh goodness. And I apologize. I have questions coming in. If people just can't wait 15 more minutes for me to finish my show to answer these questions. But anyway, so like I said, there's a lot of growing up. So I can only imagine what it's like for young Ruben out there to not only try to pursue his career, but to have to adjust to the customs and the traditions and, what it's like to live in the United States and even North Carolina. That's a whole character within itself. But and then also, try to fulfill his dream and put on the best performance and, take care of himself, take care of, sponsor responsibilities, take care of Rev Racing responsibility, everything that goes, along with that and growing up and everything else. So I'm definitely excited about learning about Ruben and very excited about having him on the show. And like I said, when they rebroadcast it either this Tuesday or next Tuesday, I can't remember which Tuesday it was. I know that I seen it passed on by Dominique, which we had on the show last week. I know that she said it was next Tuesday, but I didn't know if she meant next Tuesday when she said it on Sunday, as in tomorrow next Tuesday, or as in next Tuesday as in next week Tuesday. So that is what that is. So we'll definitely catch up. Like I said, I was hoping to sit down and watch the All-Star game last night. It was not something that it was something that I wanted to see, and I didn't get the opportunity to get to see it all like I was hoping. They, like I said, Charter had their issues yesterday, and they were down in North Carolina and Virginia. We tried to sit, Shorty and I were going to sit and watch it last night, the rebroadcast of it, but I ended up falling asleep by halftime. I'm not sure exactly when she fell asleep, but I know that I did not make it to halftime. Just one of those things. It was late and everything else at that point, and I was ready to crash. But Russell Westbrook won the MVP. 1 point short of tying an all-time record, which obviously Popovich wasn't going to allow, or the guys weren't going to allow that to happen. His defense got a little more strict, and things got changed up a little bit, but all in all, I guess a successful weekend for the NBA. Like I said, the only reason I was going to tune into it was the Kobe Bryant, the farewell, and this being his last All-Star game. And, of course, I caught bits and pieces of it, but I caught bits and pieces on Facebook and passed that on. The opening ceremony, the player introduction, him coming off the court about a minute left in the game, just everything, every aspect of it, I did get to see that part of it, and it was really good to watch. Now we got the second half of the season. Now we still got the trade deadline coming up, so we're going to see if there's obviously any moves that's going to happen this year for any blockbuster moves. As a matter of fact, I don't really think that there's been too many moves of anything going on at this point. But we'll definitely keep our eye on that, and very excited about seeing what comes of any trades and how this potentially or possibly affects any of the teams that are in contention. And, of course, Golden State still with that phenomenal record, 48-4. Jordan, gave his blessing. Not that I think the Golden State Warriors really cared or really was looking for his blessing, but told him to go ahead and go for it. If they can get it, get it. So that's obviously something that we're going to be keeping our eye on and kind of counting down as they come closer and closer of setting a new record and wins in the season. Gillian's son won the K&N Pro Series race, by the way. I got the opportunity yesterday. We was in a racing mood yesterday. For those that have not seen it, make sure you guys go to our fan page. I forgot all about this. And what's even more entertaining is while it was happening and leading up to when it happened, they actually were talking about another driver doing this and causing themselves to lose a race. But if you don't remember or forgot about, or just wasn't a NASCAR fan there, go to our fan page and go to the post. It was yesterday about 9:54, labeled Mark Martin's Big Mistake. The 1994 Goodies 250 from Bristol. That is rather entertaining. I don't want to give it away in case you go check it out, but definitely entertaining to watch. Definitely a funny sequence, and it was he took all the blame himself on it, and it was just one of the things that I remember it happening, but I forgot all about it. And to have the chance to sit there and watch it yesterday, it was rather comical. So. Had a great show last night. If you guys missed it, we had two very young, talented drivers on the Dirt Talk Hour. We had Samantha Lieberman, and we had Stephanie DeCoste Cooper join the show. I say us, I was just in the studio. Had a big turnout last night. Very excited about that. They had their first ladies of racing last night on the show. Had fun being in the studio, had fun listening to them. Stephanie's brother actually is part of the Denny Hamlin team. He's a front tire changer. So it was fun to listen to her talk about that and talk about the competition. As a matter of fact, her brother called in, surprised everybody during the show. So had an opportunity to have them on, a little competitiveness and with amongst themselves. And the fact that Stephanie's now husband is also a driver, and the competitiveness between them definitely made it entertaining last night. So if you guys have missed that, make sure you guys go over there and check out the Dirt Talk Hour. Also, we had a great episode of Happy Hour Garage yesterday. They did an interview with Derek Hope. Like I said, this Sunday show, they're interviewing both Nemechek and his son. So very excited about getting an opportunity to listen to that on the Happy Hour Garage. Of course, we rebroadcast or syndicate that on the 110 Nation Sports Radio Network. So love what those ladies are doing. I know they didn't do a show this week. That's why we replayed the Derek Hope interview, because one of them was out at Daytona this last weekend, and so they were obviously busy and doing what they were doing, and it was great to be able to see the pictures and everything else. So definitely had fun with that, and definitely looking forward to hearing their latest show coming up this Sunday. Don't forget, you can check out the 110 Nation Morning Show Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. You can check out the 110 Nation Sports Show Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. We got Racing with Big Sweat making his return next Thursday night, the 25th, 9 p.m. Thursday night, so make sure you guys check that out as well. And make sure you guys check us out on Facebook, my personal fan page, Mr. CJ Sports, the 110 Nation fan page, 110 Nation Sports. Check me out on Twitter, at CJ Sports1, the 110 Nation fan page, at 110 Nation. Also, check out the blog site, www.the110nationsports.com. Check out the company site, www.the110nation.com, for all the latest going on here at the 110 Nation. Trying to think if there's anything else. I don't really want to jump into too much more, as we only got a few minutes left, and things get. I'll take care of that. Trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's what we're going to get. Oh, and I forgot, we got Rubens Racing back on Monday night, 7 p.m. Make sure you guys check that out as well. I just went blank. If you're interested in coming on the show, all you got to do is get a hold of Miss Lee. You can get a hold of her at Lee_110nation@yahoo.com. That's LEE_110nation@yahoo.com. No matter if you're an athlete, part of some kind of athletic organization or team, maybe you got a show or site, you want to come on and talk about it and promote it and talk sports, or maybe you got some charity or foundation that you want to come on and promote as well, just like the Seek to Destroy Cancer we had on earlier tonight, and then also the fact that we're going to have Tommy Danger make a return to the show to help promote the stuff they have going on over there, more than just me, to raise money for cystic fibrosis. Also, if you have a show and you want to come on or have it syndicated on our network, rebroadcast like we do Happy Hour Garage, and just like the I-95 does for us with the 110 Nation Sports Show and the Dirt Talk Hour, all you got to do is hit me up, MrCJSports@gmail.com. We have about 15 more hours we get to use a week, and we would love the opportunity to fill all those slots up and use everything we're paying for. I think right now we're around 20 and a half hours or something out of the 35 we have. So if you got a show out there and you want to put it on our network to get exposed on our network, just hit me up. Also, if you want to come on and co-host, I would love to have someone to talk with me for 2 hours every night. All you do is hit me up. Or maybe you want to come on and be an expert, or are an expert in a sport, and you would like to come on about 30 minutes a week, and like we do with Izzo, and talk about a certain sport and get us updated once a week, or maybe twice a week. Also hit me up, MrCJSports@gmail.com. Also, if you're a writer and you want a platform to get your work out there and help get exposure and help an up-and-growing company, as every single day this company keeps getting bigger and bigger when it comes to our listeners and our viewers. Now we just got to work on expanding the staff. Also hit me at MrCJSports@gmail.com. Or maybe you're good behind-the-scenes stuff. Maybe the marketing, PR, social media. Maybe you want to help run our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Maybe you want to help us land some marketing partners, or maybe you're great and you want to work with Miss Lee in the PR aspect of it to help tackle getting guests on the show and building a great relationship like Miss Lee has done. Also hit me at MrCJSports@gmail.com. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We had one hell of a week last week. We are definitely on pace to have one hell of a month this month, probably our best month to date. All you got to do is keep tuning in, keep spreading the word. Also, if you've not followed us on the Spreaker platform, do us one. Follow us on Spreaker. We jumped up a couple this week. We're up to 49 this week. It amazes me because between the listeners we have from the I-95 network, the listeners that we have from our network, between the social media outlets, between the sites, the blog sites, everything, our voice and our words reach over a couple 100,000 people easily. And yes, we got 49 people that have liked us on Spreaker or followed us on Spreaker. We need your support over on the Spreaker platform. Why it's important to us, once on the Spreaker platform we hit 100, that makes it where we can start pursuing getting on iHeartRadio. And that's one of our big goals, is putting our show, our whole network, on the iHeartRadio platform. You can only imagine what that'll do for us and how much better that can make the show and how many more shows we can bring on knowing we are on such a big platform. Do us one. Go over there. All you got to do is go to Spreaker.com. All you got to do is look up the 110 Nation. I even changed it because it was under my name for the username, my personal name. I even changed it to make it that much easier. Now all you got to do is look up the 110 Nation. It's the 110 Nation LLC is what it's under. But all you got to do is just type in the 110 Nation. It'll put you right there. Then all you got to do is just hit follow. All it's going to do is give you an email to confirm it, and that's it. You get no more emails, no nothing else. That's the end of it. If you don't have an account with Spreaker, all you got to do is just log in as your Facebook, and it takes like literally a minute. It takes like 30 seconds to follow without the account. To get an account to follow, it takes you like a minute. It does not take nothing at all. You get one email to confirm your email when you sign up if you don't have an account. And if you do have an account, then when you follow it, it does not send you anything, and that's the end of it. But we really could use your support, and definitely could definitely use your support so we can get on that platform. Also, I forgot to mention, for those that in the racing world, there was a little boy. I want to say he was somewhere between 3 and 5 years old. I can't remember how old he was now. I think the accelerator got stuck, or whatever the case was. And I know the video has gone viral. Millions of people have seen it. The little boy that was headed towards the wall, I don't think he was even on the track. And the guy that ended up grabbing his Sprint Cup car, obviously him being the smaller Sprint Cup car, but grabbed it and helped stop it, prevent it from smacking into the wall head first. For those that have seen the video, you know what I'm talking about. For those you've not seen the video, go over to the Dirt Talk Hour, our Facebook fan page for that show. You'll see the video over there. Well, anyway, for those that are familiar with it, just happened like last week. For those that are familiar with it, on this Sunday's episode, they are going to have, the little boy that was driving the Sprint Cup car, the parents of the little boy that was driving the Sprint Cup car, and the guy that helped save and help prevent that being a really bad situation by stopping that car, by grabbing onto it. They got all 4 of those people lined up to come on Sunday night. So very, very excited about having an opportunity to talk to the driver, the young little boy, the family, and the hero in the situation on Sunday's show. So make sure you guys tune in and check that out as well. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Definitely looking forward to being back at it tomorrow morning for the 110 Nation Morning Show. If you missed Rubbing His Racing here on the Block Talk Radio Network, it will be kicking off here at 11 o'clock. You can catch it. If you're catching it on any other platform, it is already by this point on any other platform, so make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. And tomorrow night, back at this again. I am not 100% sure what our guest roster is looking like for tomorrow. If not, you guys just have me to listen to. But either way, we'll be back at it tomorrow. You guys have a great night.
Thanks for listening to the 110 Nation Sports Show with Mr. CJ Sports. You are a part of the 110 Nation, so be sure to visit the110nation.com for everything related to the show. You can follow CJ on Twitter at 110Nation and on Facebook at 110 Nation Sports. Until next time.
Grab a cutie and join the fun. Pass them around to everyone. Eat a cutie and soon you'll be happy, healthy, and sweet as candy. I want cuties. I want
Give your Valentine a healthy treat and a new sweet beat. Pick up Cuties and download I Want Cuties at cutiescitrus.com.